Martin and welcome to another great edition for Astronomy for Beginners. Now, has anyone had this drama? We're at the altitude and the altitude base, alright, and this is the problem bolt we get. Now this is already a modified uprated bolt, alright, as you can see there. This is pretty strong. Now the standard bolts are very weak. Now this is just an early mod that I've done, alright. You can buy this from Telescope Service and you can buy this from River Valley Optics, and this is the uprated bolt from Geo Optic, and to be honest with you, I've used it quite a few years now. It's a universal joint bolt, alright, specialised bolt, and it's very strong. However, this is the problem I've got. If I slacken the downward motion of the bolt, okay, this, because it's past a certain point, when you get to about 50 degrees or more, this bolt gets so tight, and I mean, it's like, I mean, I'm quite strong, and it is really tight. Now, if you're trying to do your pole alignment with that, one, you're going to have like arms like Garth and you get massive. Secondly, is trying to pole align, when you're trying to struggle that amount of tension, you're going to start shifting the pole alignment whilst you're doing it. So this is the reason why we're doing this EQ6 rail, is to eliminate this really stiff motion. And the reason why it's so stiff is that this bolt is acting against a plate. Now the plate's at a certain angle, and when it gets to a really steep angle, this bolt is literally acting against this plate at a very awkward angle. So you're really having to put a lot of pressure. Alright, and when you're slacking it, I've noticed when you're slacking it, it gets easier because it's going down steep, a lot less of an angle. The other thing about this design is, because that bolt's acting against that plate, alright, that's tilting this whole weight, don't forget you've got a lot of weight acting against that pivot point. So that's a lot of force for that bolt to go and thread through. So this is the reason why the standard EQ6 bolts are very weak, because they have a tendency to bend inside, or they can strip out the actual thread on the casting of this unit. So that is the problem I've got, even though I've got the modified bolt, alright. So even when this bolt is wound all the way out, again, as you can see, I can get really massive. That is a clear example of what happens with your Skywatcher NEQ6 mount. Now, the mount is very good. It's a very good quality mount. Alright, it does have a few flaws, and that is one of the most common flaws that we have with Skywatcher mounts. In fact, it's not just Skywatcher mounts, it's also Celestron and Orion as well. They're all based on the same design. I have done product reviews for Modern Astronomy, alright, and they've been in business for quite a while, and a very trustworthy retailer, right? Anything that I need, particularly for CCDs or imaging equipment, Modern Astronomy have always provided a top service, and have always provided me good quality products, alright, and the service is just top notch, alright. I've never had any problems. And again, if you want to contact Bernard is available in the description below, and his website's on there as well. So I've come across his website, and I actually come across this modification. Now this is a non-destructive modification. It's called the EQ6 rail. Now there's not a lot of information about this modification. So I've come across this EQ6 rail. Alright, this is a brand new modification that's out. You can modify your EQ6 mount and improve on the altitude bolt. It allows you to operate the altitude motion of your mount very easily. Alright, and I'll go closer in depth as we go through the video. So again, if you like watching my video, again please hit the like button. And again, I'm also available on Facebook group Astronomy for Beginners. Please join that group. Alright, there's a lot of information there. Alright, and if you're just starting out in astronomy, or you are interested in space, alright, please join that group. Again, if you like watching my videos, please hit the like button. And again, please subscribe onto my channel, hit the notifications, and again, please share this video out. Alright, again, this is the first review of this product. Okay, there's not much coverage out there on YouTube. So again, if you're interested and you want to do the modification yourself, then what we're going to do is we'll take you through the video and we'll show you the product and then get to actually test it out. So if you're interested, keep watching and let's do this. These are the tools and equipment you're going to require to fit your EQ6 rail. Now, as you can see, there's quite a few tools there, but believe me, I'm following exactly it's stated in the manual. It's just there are a few differences. So to begin with, I have a ratchet. Now, as it states in the manual, you need different size spanners. So I have a 17, a 16 and a 15mm spanner. Now, in the manual it states you should have 2 of each of these items. So you need a 17, 16 and a 15. However, you can use sockets to carry out this job. Okay, so if you don't have open end spanners, okay, you can use sockets. So here I've got a 17, 16 and a 15mm socket and a ratchet. Now it does state the reasons why you've got to have these series of spanners. Now I know the main reason behind this is that Skywatcher tends to not make their components exactly the same size. So if I've got an NEQ6 mount, alright, if one guy has got another NEQ6 mount, exactly the same mount as me, I can guarantee you now that his size of fitments of bolts and all that will be way different compared to mine, which is quite surprising really, because you will think that all these mounts are made the same, so the same model will be exactly the same parts, but it isn't. But that's another dilemma. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm not disputing that what is better and what is good quality and all that. The main focus is make sure you got these parts. Okay, make sure you got these tools in hand. The next lot is you need a permanent marker. Okay, I will explain that further on in the video. Clean rag. Then you're going to need a 2.5 metric Allen key or hex bit, whatever it is you got. Then you're going to require a flat point screwdriver, a screwdriver and a posi drive or cross point screwdriver, and additionally, that's not in the manual, is a small flat point screwdriver. Okay. Now the other thing, okay, is that's not in the manual is this. Nick your wife's hairdryer. Okay, I'm not joking, but this will become apparent once we'll be working through the project. So I'm not taking a mickey, alright, this is going to save you a lot of hassle. So please get yourself a hairdryer that can go onto hot setting. So that's the tools and equipment you're going to need to carry out your EQ6 rail project. So I've opened the box and this is what you usually get. First off, there's a few items. I was expecting rather more items than this, but again, they're really well packaged. What you do get is you get the two aluminium dust caps, which are ionized, alright, with this nice deep blue colour, which I really love. Alright, and I do like the Modern Astronomy. It's got a bit of a cool look to it. Alright, and it's quite well machined. Alright, so you get two of these dust caps. Alright, and again they've got adhesive backing on these as well. The other thing is you get a grease applicator, which are basically just Q-tips or cotton buds, whatever you call them, and you get a small smear of grease, alright, to lubricate all your parts. Ideally, what I have noticed about that grease is, as it mentioned in the manual, to advise to use that grease. However, I looked at closely what that grease is, and it's just basically lithium grease, right? So I'm going to use the Geo-Optic bearing and shaft grease. All right, this is exactly the same stuff. In fact, it might actually be the same stuff, but this is a better grease. All right, and I do trust it. All right, and I have used it on my mounts, so I'll be using this. All right, but however, if for reference to the guide, it does state in the manual to advise to use this grease. However, if you don't have this grease, you can use that. All right. Now the big main components is this. Now they're wrapped up in the bags because I don't want to take them out because they are covered in lithium grease. And as you can see, the main one is actually the rail itself. Now as you can see, it looks like it's very highly machined. It looks of really good quality. It's aluminium and it does look well made. So I can understand why certain components do cost a lot of money. And don't forget, this is a lot of material having to be machined down to accurate tolerances. So you are paying for what you get, and it does look robust and does look strong. And then you've got the last part is this. This is the actual roller itself. Now this is where the bolts will go and act upon. Again, this is aluminium, highly machined yet again. Alright, and it has fixed pins as well. So again, it's pre-greased, hence why it's in its bag. Also I forgot to mention is you do get a really good detailed manual. Now the manual is quite well structured, alright, and it's quite easy to follow, and that's exactly what you want. Alright, so it's got a good manual, so when you fit it you know exactly what to do. So this is what you get for £129. However, I do feel that I think this accessories could do with a little more things to be included, i.e. if you're going to do this modification, I feel that there should be some uprated bolts with that. So when you're doing this project, especially if you bought this for your EQ6 mount and you find your bolts already bent, I feel that they should include in this package some sources of bolts, of uprated bolts in there, alright, to justify the price. Again, I feel that the price is a little bit too high. However, this is a new modification, alright, and I do agree that it may cost that amount because due to the machining of the material and all that. So I do get that. And again, I would like to have seen with the grease applicator being a tub of grease, say like a Geo-Optic grease. Only a little tub, you know, something that's better than just putting in a little small placky bag, for example. Alright, but it's only there for a quick application. It's alright, but I was expecting a lot more for my money. So, but don't let that put you off. Alright, end of the day is I'm giving this modification a chance. Alright, I can see that all these components are well made, but again, this is what these product reviews are all about, is to show you guys and girls what you get with your money, how you put it together, using the tools, and then to do the job. But so far, a few bits, but really good instructions, and the components are fantastically well made. Alright, so I'm looking forward to this. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over to our EQ6 mount and show you how to do the EQ6 rail mod. Now, it is recommended is to remove the NEQ6 mount, okay, off your pier or off your tripod. The reasons for that is you put it on the hard surface and apparently it's easier to work on the mount when it's off the mount or the tripod, okay. So it does state in the manual. So with that, just make sure you remove any attachments, okay. So any like sort of attachments that might get in the way that could possibly break. And again, if you're wondering what these items are, again, please refer to my video guide at the top on KT3D. Alright, I did a product review on these parts here, okay, and these parts here. Alright, these are not standard, alright, as you notice. But again, if you're interested in watching that video and you would like to know what these are, please check out that video from the top. So what you're going to do is make sure you just remove some of the items that might get in the way that could possibly break when you're doing this project. So just make sure you remove any items from there. So as you can see now, I've removed some necessary items. The one thing I haven't removed is the actual bolts for the altitude. So you've got your up and down motion bolts. I've left them in there because, as it states in the manual, to leave those on. Okay, so I'll leave these bolts in place. Everything else is going to remain the same. Now, if you're doing the Super Tune series, alright, of the NEQ6, and you like to undertake this project, again, please check out the video from the top to do the Super Tune series for this mount. Now, if you're going to do the whole complete refurb, then I would strongly advise to do the EQ6 rail and start off the base first. It does make it easier when you strip most of this out. But because I've done a lot of refurb on this mount, I can't just strip all this part out. Because ideally I would have had this all apart and had just the base to work with. Unfortunately, this was before this was released out. I just did my Super Tune series and I didn't find out about this EQ6 rail. What you're going to do is mark off any marks. Now this is you're going to remove this item. Now what you're supposed to do is mark off, if you lock any screws, right, mark off the outline of the position. Again, using your marker, right, mark these points there, and because this is in a certain way, we're going to put number T there. Now the reason why I put a T mark there is to indicate that this goes that way. Again, you can alternatively just mark all the way around like so. Now, just to make you aware, the reasons why it states to mark this is when you remove that, you want this needle to be placed back in the same way. And that's why you mark the areas of where, when you put it together, you know exactly how this needle is put in place. Now, one thing I have noticed on my mount is I don't have to mark down using my permanent marker. Believe it or not, there is, if you check this out closely, you can just check, there is actually a recess, an indentation actually in the casting itself. So as long as you've got the actual marking is marked off as T, alright, because this is and fits a certain way, as long as you've marked a T there, there's no really requirements to mark this area out. However, if you don't have the recess in the casting, then you're going to have to mark all the relevant points there. If you're that way inclined, you can use a mobile phone and take a picture of that part, okay, before you remove it. And again, to be honest with you, if you're doing this project for the first time, I would strongly recommend, like I have suggested in my Super Tune series, is to take a series of photos during your project. So when you're stripping out components, you know where each part goes. When you remove this item, you also need to mark this plate. you mark down the 0 like so. You then mark down the 90 degrees like so. So when you put in your new one, you know where to line up your dust cap. So that's the other thing why you need a permanent marker. If you use a permanent marker, when you put this together, use some isopropyl alcohol to remove the permanent marker. Alright, so that's all you're going to do. Then get yourself your cross point screwdriver, and again remove those screws like so. There you go. That is that component removed. Alright, as you can see, it's fitted a certain way. It's a bit of a pain to do, but if you take your time, it'll take some time to remove this cap. So again, you need your flat point screwdriver, and the trick is get yourself your hairdryer. So you're going to warm this base up, alright, nice and easy, just let it warm up. And the whole idea is when you get this warm, you've got to try and prise this off, okay? This may take some time to release, but this is what you've got to do, just got to prise it off. One thing to highlight is that you will damage these caps, alright, without a doubt. So you need to remove these caps, nice and easy. Now as you can see here, I've damaged it already. Now I was expecting that, but what I did was tap the screwdriver, flat point, and the only tool I had to use was to use a bit of a hammer on that face very carefully. Once I've got a hold, I just then make sure that I'm using the heat, alright, to my advantage. So I've just got a bit of a lip, alright, so I can then begin to warm up this cap, alright, and then just begin to prise this out, lift this out bit by bit, alright, all the way around. You just gradually feed all the way around. You will remove that cap. So give me about 5 minutes and this cap should be removed. Now as you can see, using the heat, I'm just lifting the cap bit by bit, alright. As you can see there, it's come off. So as you can see there, I've removed the cap. This cap cannot be used again because it is dinted, it's damaged now, so you can't use that cap. So that's why we use the replacement caps. So as you can see there, I've done minimal damage. I've just slightly marked this part here, but don't worry. Alright, it's not done any massive dramas. So as you can see, we removed the cap. Bit of heat, started off nice and easy. This one looks like it's coming off very easy on this one. Alright, so you do the same on this side. Alright, again, work that way in. Alright. So as you can see now, it comes off just like that. So if there's any like burrs or anything like that, just clean them up with a bit of emery cloth or something like that, just to clean that up, alright, remove all the excessive adhesive, okay. So now in the manual, it states that you should remove the mount. However, for the purpose of this video, I decided to place the mount head back onto my pier. So again, I've checked the size of that bolt, and this one's a 16mm. So I use my spanner and my socket, 16mm ratchet and socket, and I'm going to loosen these bolts. Okay, I'm not going to remove them, I'm going to loosen them. That's the nut on the other side. So we're going to loosen that bolt and nut, okay, like so. Alright, that's it. Now, one thing I've noticed is keep these bolts in. Now, as you can see, as I loosen that main bolt, have you noticed the head decided to tilt out? Now, the reasons for that is you keep these bolts in. Alright, so your altitude bolts must be placed in there to secure. If you didn't have that, that mount head will just topple right, on itself, on that axis, on that pivot point, and you may trap your hands or anything in the process. So that is the main reason why the manual does state that you should keep these bolts in, and that's the reason why. Okay, you're now going to use your 2.5mm Allen key, and you're just going to slacken the grub screws inside here. Alright, you slacken them out, alright, like so. Alright, don't need to take them all the way out, but just slacken them like so. You only need to slacken those out. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove this mount head off the pier. I put it on the floor like so, and then I'm just going to remove the bolt. Alright, there's the nut, and I'm just going to remove the bolt. That's the bolt removed and the nut. Put that in a nice safe place. So now we're going to carefully slide the bottom base. Now as you can see here, alright, this slides out like so. That's the base, alright, and we're working from this base now. So now what you can do, you can clean up the areas. Alright, clean up the areas. Alright, these are washers, these big washers are greased. Take note of the plastic shims, alright, so make sure that the shims are there. So again, this has got two big main washers. Now we're taking a close look actually on the mount head. Now this is the pivot point, the plate I was on about. Alright, as you can see, I've got a smear of grease, and I've put tons of grease on that component. Now if we were going to use a clean rag or whatever, alright, if I clean that up, look at that. See that? Look at this. My God, look at that. That's a lot of wear. I regularly grease this, right, and I do look after this mount. Now as you can see, during time, after 4 or 5 years of owning this mount, there's a massive deep groove there, alright, and that's really quite bad actually. That's quite a good 1mm depth of wear, alright, that's really put me off. So again, on closer inspection, on the other side, there's not much wear at all, alright, there's hardly any wear at all on the back, on the front one. However, it just shows you how easy that is with those bolts to mark this component. Alright, so that's a lot of wear. So I'm glad in a way that I'm doing this EQ6 rail mod. Alright, and the whole idea is the roller that's going to sit here, it's going to sit in the front of that roll, in that place there, and it will prevent that wear. Alright, and that's quite extensive amount of damage, that. And as you can see, at the bottom, there's that bolt, alright, and you can see that there's quite a lot of grease, alright, that's been pushed out. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove these bolts, alright, like so, and we're just going to clean them up. And if this bolt here is damaged, now I seriously recommend that you get the replacement bolts. Upon closer inspection, after I clean up components, I have noticed that there is another Teflon type shim. Now this is for the bolt side, alright, so just make sure and take note of that Teflon shim. Now the good thing is this is already greased, but if it's a bit dry, you can always use any lithium grease or something that's good with plastics. Alright, just use that grease. Alright, this is on the other side. Alright, this will go from the inside of the base, and this is the washer. Alright, and they will go inside underneath there. Alright, so take note, use your mobile phone and take notice of the shims. Alright, it's very crucial that you take note of those, because when you install this, you do not want to install it incorrectly. So take notice of the shims. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to remove that shim, because I know how it's fitted. Alright, so I'm not going to have that in the way, because it may cause a few problems. So as you can see here, we're at a plate, and the first thing you're going to do, as you can see, there's already pre-grease on there. However, as you can see there, I'm going to lubricate this rail. Alright, there's two sides, you can just see the rail here and here. Alright, and basically how this works with this this rail here from either side, this roller's got two locating dowels, and you slide it on there like so. Alright, so it slides back and forth like that. Okay, and that's how it works. Alright, it's quite a simple device. Alright, as you can see there. Alright, but what we're going to do is we're going to apply some grease along the sides here, like so, and inside the rail, and inside these faces there. And then you're going to apply some grease in the center here. So you can cover this entire lot in grease if you wish, alright, and this part, alright. The more grease the merrier. Some people will disagree with me there, but to be honest with you, alright, I like to get my hands dirty, alright, and I'm just going to cover all these faces, alright. So as you can see, pay close attention of where the parts are going to, where metal contact is. And again, you do have the kit, alright. You can use the grease and the grease applicator that's provided. However, I'm just going to use the good old Geo-Optic grease, alright, fantastic grease. This is the type 2 grease, and I'm going to use this grease because this is tip top. Alright, so I'm going to smash this along those surfaces. So we've got the roller and the rail greased up, alright, and as you can see, oh, it runs like a dream. Alright, so again, that looks pretty sweet. Then what we're going to do is we're going to fit this roller and the rail onto the base. Alright, and the trick is on this face here, see that lip there, if you slide it into that gap, alright, see that bit there, alright, if you slide it in there and then just like so, tilt it, alright, and let it slide in. Okay, that is now the base and the roller in position. So now that's flat on the base, the rails are nice and flat, and the roller is nice and secure inside this part here. Now as you can see how this works, alright. So now this can you can put your bolt through that hole there, alright, and position like so. Alright, so that is now the rail and the roller in place. So now as you can see, I've greased up the main bolts, alright, and I'm screwing this in. And as you can see where the rail and the roller goes, and it sits in there. Alright, so I've greased up the threads, I put a bit of grease, and I've just got the roller sitting on there. Now just be careful as you're working with this, you can actually get this roller to come off from this end. Now if it comes off right to the far end here, you have to retake the whole rail and then place the roller back into the rail and then try again. And already, as I'm turning that, it looks amazing. In fact, super smooth, amazing. So what we're going to do now, we're going to place this now back onto the mount. After we replace that part there, alright, I'm going to slide this component back onto the mount head. So now we're going to put that base in, like so. Alright, we've put this bolt, the downward bolt here. Right, the reason to put that in to stop this actual roller from coming off from the other end. Alright, so then what we're going to do is put in the washer from this side. Alright, this is already greased, so I don't need to bother with it. Alright, it's got the white lithium grease. Alright, and I'm going to slide it on there. Again, as you're aware here, there is also a washer here and a metal washer here. Again, that goes a certain way. I'm then now going to slide it carefully into the mount. Alright, this can be a bit fiddly, but bear with us. Right, you just slide it into the mount like so. Alright, and what you're trying to do is make sure that you feed this, see where this ridge is, right? You want that roller to be mounted just before that ridge, so that needs to go about here. Right, so again, you've got to play about with it, alright, gently. Alright, and you're just going to try and feed that roller inside and out, alright, and feed it in till you get it located. Alright, like so. At the moment, I can't fit it in, so I've got to just play about with it. If not, try again, which again, you just got to play about with it. And again, I wasn't. So again, you just got to play about with that roller and then try again. I mean, end of the day, you've got to make sure that that roller sits behind this part here, this part. Alright, so keep playing about with it. Alright, and you will get it in there. Right, so again, same detail, feed it through like so, and hopefully I'm behind there, and I am. So now I've got the roller behind where that bad mark is. Alright, and now what I do is I place the bolt back inside. Alright, so again, you grease this bolt with lithium grease, alright, and you feed that bolt inside like so, and then put your nut behind there. So as you can see, I've got the bolt in. I'm just tightening up the main bolt. Alright, I'm not going to lie to you, this may take a bit of time. Alright, it can be a bit of a pain in the backside, but the thing is, the main problem is you've got to try and line up the spacers, the washer, and you've got to make sure that that this bolt and the rollers is behind that arm. And again, it may take a few times and a few effort, but you've got to get this right. Once you've got the main bolt in, alright, just nipped up, alright, you can then put the retaining nut on the other side. Now as you can see, just to test it out, alright, this is a good opportunity. Alright, this is slack, alright, and the whole idea is you should, as you can see here, that is now working. So now that works, and that is really smooth. So that's just a little test, alright, and you can, if you put your finger behind this slot here, you can just feel the arm. Now you can feel the arm there, alright, you are now located. But if you feel the roller there, it means that the roller has slid past the arm. So you need that pivot arm, that roller, to be behind that pivot arm on this bolt side here. So again, this is a quick little test, alright, as you can see, alright, just to double confirm that that roller and the rail is sitting right. Alright, so it's very crucial that you test that out. So replace the nut like so. We're just going to just nip that up for time being. Alright, so I've got the spanner behind there and I'm just tightening it up, just nip it up like so. Alright, we'll sort out the tension later. So that's now secure. We can now work on the other side. So as you can see here, you tighten these up bit by bit, right, like so. Right, and they need to be slightly tight, not over tightened, but what you're trying to do is adjust so that there's no free play between that joint. Alright, so if you can shake it, it needs to adjust it slightly bit more. Alright, and there should be no tension, there should be no free play in between that pivot. Okay, so you tighten these up and then tighten up the main bolt and just keep adjusting it as you go along. Alright, and then you should be good to go. So now I've got the tension on there reasonable. What we're going to do is put it on the pier. So I'm going to put the pier base on, alright, and I'm going to fix this onto my tripod. So that's the pier bracket secured, alright. So I've got the head back on the pier and I've put down the modified alt azimuth left and right uprated screws on there. Alright, this is now secure. Now again, this is very crucial, is before you operate anything, make sure that both the altitude bolts are tightened up against the plate to eliminate movement. So there should be no free play, and what you're trying to do is you're trying to hold the base, alright, and you're trying to pivot the mount. Okay, as you can see there, I've got a bit of free play. Now this is the reason why in the book you should not put the caps in place, alright? You've got to adjust these screws and tighten up the bolt. Alright, it's very crucial you get that out of the way before you put the dust caps on. Just tighten the main bolt like so. Alright, I've locked tight the lock nuts, alright, and I'm going to tighten that up. Alright, like so. So again, tighten both sides. That's all you need to do. Again, check for any lateral movement, and as you can see, I can't feel any movement. Alright, these are nipped up, alright, as well, and that should be good to go. Now, one thing I've noticed with this modification, you are restricted between movements of 15 degrees to 75 degrees. However, don't let that concern you. If you're going to use the mount in other countries where Polaris is very low in the sky, then remove the base like I've shown before, and you can always remove the plate, alright, so you can get more movement. So that's what I like about this modification. It's not destructible, alright. The only thing you will destroy is the dust cap. So you can order online from Modern Astronomy for some replacement dust caps if you choose to remove the rail and you're going to different countries, for example. So you can order the replacement caps, alright. Before I'm going to clean up with a bit of isopropyl alcohol to clean up the area, alright, before you put the dust cap. So you just clean that area. Be careful not to remove the markings for the 0 and 90 degrees, alright. Make sure you don't remove that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to clean up that area the best you can, alright, like so. Now we're going to line up our dust cap. Again, remember the markings here, 0 degrees, 90 degrees. Alright, you just line that up like so. So as you can see, I've tried to line up the cap, and there's one thing I have noticed and I feel that Modern Astronomy need to improve on. Now these pads are not great. In fact, they actually should be a lot better than this. So ideally, I feel that Modern Astronomy need to invest in pads, double-sided tape, thicker tape, plus they need to be a lot more so the user can fix these themselves. So even when I fix it there, alright, this will come off, alright. So the pads need to be a lot more secure. So alternatively, you're going to have to put in more of these double-sided pads, alright, for this to stick. So I've fixed more adhesive pads now, and that's a lot more secure now. So I'm happy now that I've got that squared away. Now, as I mentioned before, don't remove all the marks until you're happy with the plates on. I've already got a recess here, so I don't really need to mark these areas there. Alright, so what we do is we just place, as remember before, see where I marked the top, and I'm just going to secure the needle back in its recess. So I'll screw that in. Okay, that's my needle in place, and now I'm going to do is remove the markings like so, and that's me good to go. We're putting the last cap on. It doesn't really matter where you want this logo to be positioned, right? It's really up to you. Secure that in like so, and as you can see, oh, it looks sweet. And as you can see, that is now the mod completed. So now we've put everything together, and we're going to test it out with all the weight. We've got the telescope, the guide camera, and the camera. Alright, and we're just going to test these bolts out. So now what we're going to do is, like before, again, take the back part off. Alright, and as you can see, look at that. That is running smooth. Look at that. And again, I'm I'm not granching it in really as well, alright. This is free to rotate, alright, and so as you can see now, you know, just in these bolts, alright, look at this, fantastic. So again, really smooth. As you can see now, that is just fantastic. You know, you just can't beat that. You know, absolutely can't beat that. And I'm turning this one hand, fingertip as well. All right, just to make sure. All right, we try the other end. Okay, try again. Fingertip. There you go. You just can't beat it. What a massive improvement. So as you say, it's definitely worth the money there. Alright, and it runs smoothly, and that's what you want. So when you pull a line and you adjust the polyscope reticle and you align it to Polaris, you don't have any dramas now to adjust that mount. That is brilliant. What a fantastic result. And again, thanks again for that, Modern Astronomy. That's top. That's a top product, that. Thank you very much. So, as you can see, what a difference that modification, right? It has really improved my NEQ6 mount. Now, I've got everything done. The super tune's completed. I've got the belt modification, all the bearings and the grease has been replaced, and now I've got the EQ6 rail fitted. And what a difference that's made my mount. My mount is now so easy to operate. I have no difficulty to just adjust the altitude on my mount, okay? It's a joy to use, and that's the whole idea of showing these product reviews, so that you guys and girls can get to see how it works. And if you're interested, please contact Bernard from Modern Astronomy and purchase this item. It really is definitely worth the money. And the good thing about it is it is an easy modification to do. Conclusion, would I recommend it? Yes, I would. Okay. Right. Despite a few minor points, and to be honest with you, where I see it is, if you bought it and you fit it, okay, it's going to prevent further damage. So, whilst you're thinking about contemplating whether to purchase or not, think about what sort of damage it's doing if you left the standard bolts in your mount and you're still operating it. Okay, time after time, it's going to get worse, alright, and it's going to slowly wear out your mount. So, as a quick fix, is to purchase this item. Okay, it's definitely worth, you know, it's definitely worth the money, right? It's a high quality part, alright. It's definitely worth getting it to prevent that damage, okay? And it does improve the performance of the mount, and it makes the mount feel so much better. So that includes the product review on the EQ6 rail. I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, please hit the like button, alright? Please support my channel by subscribing onto my channel, alright? And please activate the notifications tab. Again, pushing out more of these videos coming out very soon. We'll also keep you updated. So please, I hope you enjoyed this video, and again, thanks for watching, and I wish you clear skies.